we move on to discuss the NFC South. So the NFC South is coming down to the wire. We have both teams tied at 6-6. Um, Two teams tied at 6-6, and then you have the rest of the teams. They're well behind. The Saints are 4-8, and the Panthers are 3-9. In my opinion, I think it's a two-team race between the Atlanta Falcons and Tampa Bay. I have to say, a few weeks ago, when Buccaneers suffered a Monday night loss to Baltimore, and it was a critical loss. They lost Chris Godwin for the year, and then Mike Evans, which we thought it could have been for a pretty long time. It ended up only being for a few weeks. I was thinking, man, that was a great, they had an opportunity to really, I thought the Buccaneers had a great opportunity to be a really, really good team this season, and I felt like that game just ruined it for them. And then they went on to lose to Atlanta, which was their second loss to Atlanta of the season, which gave Atlanta the tiebreaker over Tampa Bay. I'm thinking, man, that's wraps for Tampa Bay. And then they went on to lose, to the Chiefs and then the Niners. And they went on to lose to the Chiefs and Niners and dropped to 4-6. And you're thinking, yeah, that's wraps, But Atlanta kept losing games. And because of that, with wins over the Giants and Panthers, suddenly it was a tie series, 6-6 between both teams, and now the only difference between the two is the tiebreaker. So basically, all Buccaneers have to do is better Atlanta's record for these last stretch of games, and Tampa Bay will be going into the playoffs and hosting a playoff game, despite the injuries that they suffered, despite Atlanta having the tiebreaker. But let's be for real. Tampa Bay is a better football team than Atlanta. The reason why this division title craze is rose is because it's close. It's because of the injuries. Tampa Bay is a better team. Tampa Bay has the better quarterback, the better football playing quarterback right now, playing better football. Tampa Bay has the experience. I think Tampa Bay, what they've done is they have a psychological hold on this division now. This is a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that's won the division title the last 4 seasons? 4 seasons, I believe. Yeah, 4 seasons. Yeah, they've won in the last 4 seasons. This is 5 years in a row if they accomplish this, if they can get it this year. So they have the pedigree, they have the personnel. And I think they have an easy stretch of games with the Raiders. They have a difficult one against the Chargers, and then they close out their last 3 games against Panthers, against the Cowboys, Panthers, Buccaneers. They could easily go 4-1, and I think that'll be enough to get them through. I think the Falcons have some games that they can lose. They take on Minnesota. They take on Commanders, the Raiders, and then I really don't think they're, locks to beat the Raiders, to go 3-0 against the Raiders, Giants, and Carolina. But I think it will come down to the wire. I absolutely believe it will come down to the wire, and I'm very, very fascinated to watch this. I think Tampa Bay is more deadly in the playoffs. If they're the ones that get the home playoff, I think Atlanta will be a comfortable game for any wild card team going into Atlanta. But in your Tampa Bay, you're gonna be, let's say, the 3rd or 4th seed. I don't think the Washington Commanders want to go into Tampa Bay. I don't think the Washington Commanders want to go into Tampa Bay. I don't believe Minnesota would want to go to Tampa Bay either, or Green Bay. I think those teams will struggle. Keep in mind, Tampa Bay, earlier on this season, when they were healthy, the Detroit Lions and Philadelphia Eagles have a combined 3 losses this season. 2 of them were against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay went into Detroit and beat them. Their only loss. Tampa Bay completely mollywopped Philadelphia Eagles earlier this season before Eagles went on their run. Tampa Bay has the personnel, has the quality, has the ability. I think Baker Mayfield is a dog. I think he's a dog. I think he's played elite football this season. And what he's done this season, despite being short-handed and he's faced so much adversity. And he's faced so much adversity in his career. And he continues to rise and to thrive. And last season, what he did in the playoffs as well, winning that playoff game. And then I thought, man, he was right there. I thought he played a really, really good playoff game against Detroit. And they were there at Detroit. They had that opportunity on the final drive to equalize it. It ends up being Baker threw an interception on that drive, trying to force it down the middle. And then, and that's a Detroit team that really almost went to the Super Bowl that year. The fits that they gave the 49ers in that NFC Championship. And Tampa Bay were able to go into Detroit and make it a difficult game for them. So I think Tampa Bay has a potential to do something in the playoffs. I do, because I believe in Baker Mayfield. I believe the moment won't be too big for him in the playoffs. I don't believe the moment will be big for him. I don't think he'll be rattled or caged. I think he has the guts to stick in the pocket, to make the plays when he needs to. I think he's a warrior, a dog, any sort of adjective I can describe Warriors-like adjective, give it to Baker Mayfield. And I think he has talent too. He was a number one overall pick for a reason. I don't think there's many throws on a football field that he can't make. And the turnovers have been getting better steadily in his career as well. Don't sleep on Tampa Bay. Don't sleep on Tampa Bay. They're getting healthier. They play good complementary football. They have the experience. And yeah, for me, they are the favorites in the NFC South. But the big thing is they have a chance to do something if they get into the playoffs. I don't believe Atlanta has that. I believe Atlanta will be first round food for whatever team goes up against them. I just think Kirk Cousins has had an awfully inconsistent season, and he's just not been great. Honestly, he hasn't been great at all, and it's funny to me because nobody's really talking about it. Recently I heard a little bit of talk of people saying, could Penix Jr. replace Kirk Cousins? Look, that's not happening this late into the season. No. With Atlanta and the fact that they're battling for a playoff spot, the Falcons are not going to put Penix in that position. No way. But I think we're going to see Penix as the Falcons quarterback way sooner than later. Because Kirk Cousins, he's not playing at elite level this season. And yeah, coming off a torn Achilles was going to be tough. But, this is a guy, he's 17 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. He had 4 interceptions last game. In his last 3 games, he has 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in his last 3 games. 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. That is ridiculous. He had a 40% quarterback rating last week against the Chargers. The game before that, 68.9. Yeah, that's a problem. There's a problem for Atlanta. Thank you guys for tuning into the GSMC Dead Ball Sports Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so please remember to subscribe to the show and leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. So thank you once again and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to